Hey guys, it's Paul here from DraftCrunch. I'm making this video today just to give you a quick overview of a couple of updates that we've recently released. Now, I haven't created a video like this before, and I plan on making more of these in the future, so I hope that they're helpful. I'm going to try to keep them all relatively short. This first one might run a little bit long because I'm going to cover a couple of different topics. But from here on out, I'm going to make basically one video per update specifically. I might even break this one up into three so it's easier for you guys to digest. But that being said, when I do go through these, I'm going to try to go through them pretty high level and pretty fast. So if I skip anything or gloss over anything that you've got questions on, uh, please reach out to us, support@draftcrunch.com, or probably even more simply, you can just chat to us if you click this icon in the bottom right corner. So with that being said, the first update I want to talk to you guys about and point out is that you now have the ability to switch between three different projection sources. Until about a week or two ago, if you've been using our tool for basketball lineups, the default projection source has been DFSR. And if you've been using our tool for NHL lineups, the um, default projection source has been RotoWire. So now for both sports, you've got the ability to select through three. This top one is the 5 game average, which we've actually had a lot of requests for. And keep an eye on this. All of these will be, we'll continue to build these out to have more and more options. The next update I want to talk about is we're now supporting golf. There are only three operators that we're working with that support golf contests right now, and those are DraftKings, Stars Draft, and Fantasy Aces. I'll click into this really quickly, but you're not going to see anything just because the tournament for this weekend has already begun. If you come back on Monday or Tuesday next week, you'll see a full player pool with salaries for the Cadillac Championship starting next weekend. Something to note, if you haven't played golf before, the contests start on Thursdays. So get your lineup in early Thursday or Wednesday night just to make sure that you're not missing it. Um, just to basically let you know that the contests start before the cut, and that's part of the strategy, of course. Um, the next update I want to talk about is a little bit more in depth. It has to do with a product release as opposed to a feature release. Um, the DraftCrunch replay service is what I'm talking about. And what this is basically the tool that you've used to create your lineups, um, but using yesterday's or just historical data in general. So if we're looking in the simplest form, um, if you want to see what the best lineup was for last night's game or the um, uh, top actual score, or even if you want to see how people fared last night, you can just go up here and click on yesterday. So yesterday let's see, we're on DraftKings. This was the best lineup, top lineup. If you scored 380 points, 380.75 points, congratulations, you had the absolute best combination of players possible. You can scroll through here and see the top 10. And if you only played in last night's late night slate, you can narrow it down to that to see what the best lineup would have been for that slate as well. So all of the functionality is the same as the actual lineup builder tool, but now in the replay service. The biggest difference is now that it's going off of production points as opposed to those projection points. That said, you are still able to see what the projected points were for that day based on whichever projection source that you've got loaded over here. This also appears in the top. So this first number is what the projected value was for this combination. And this latter part is obviously what they actually produced. Um, there's always going to be a lot of disparity here, and I would caution you to not put too much emphasis and focus on this, specifically for the top lineup, just because this absolute top lineup is, I mean, it's kind of a lottery. It's really hard to, um, like, I would be shocked if anybody had this exact same lineup yesterday. So um, the think about it when you've got how many point guards and shooting guards and small forwards, et cetera, and then how many combinations can fit into that. So it's similar to like how the lotto would work, in that it's the odds of you constructing this exact lineup are very, very low, but it is possible, obviously, and there is a lot of skill that goes into it to improve uh, your ability to get there, as opposed to just picking random numbers when comparing it to the lotto, for instance. So I say that because this top lineup, being a similar to like a lotto, is uh, is because they're full of outliers. So um, outlier meaning that these players, for the most part, have all exceeded their value, their average value of what was has been expected from them to date. Um, some players more so than others, like Harden and Curry, for instance, they're not necessarily outliers. Even scoring 70 and 60 points, that is far above what their average would be. Great games, um, but they're kind of expected to put up numbers in that ballpark. You've got other people here like let's see. Well, Norris Cole, for instance, I mean, scoring 40 points, that is not unheard of, but he's not averaging 40 points a game. If you click into his game log, you can see that. I mean, the night before, the game before, he scored 17, and he's pretty consistently in the 20s. He's got some higher scoring games. So getting that amount of points, 40 points from somebody that whose salary is $4,900 is awesome value, but it's impossible to predict that he is going to be an outlier tonight. So how do you overcome that? You use the projections as your basis, and then you try to find players that are in positions or situations that are favorable for going off. And this is how you find your punt plays, basically. Um, Utilize the parameters and the sliders on the left to do this, and we're continuing to add more and build these out. And we always think, we're aware that there are other optimizers out there, and we love it when we see those optimizers starting to include some of the parameters that we're including here. So just to let you know, we are constantly building this out. So there's going to be more and more and more of these, and we're doing the research behind it to see which are actually statistically relevant to have. And many of our blogs are going to cover that. So you'll have more information on how to use them. Um, but I mean, from a very, very high level, easy example, if you know, if I only wanted to find players that, if my strategy consisted of just using um, player matchups that the defense was in the bottom half of the league, I could use this op rank, and what would that get me? So let's see, bottom half of the league would be 16 to 30. Um, that would have left so 84 players were removed of the remaining player pool. This was the top lineup, and this lineup scored 371 points. So because, I mean, that's still a great score, right? On DraftKings, if you had 371 points, you're going to win GPP, probably first place, more times than not. So using that in conjunction with other parameters to narrow down to a player pool that only has players in these favorable positions. There's probably going to be some exceptions, and that's why you're able to lock players in. But using that and using the replay service itself as a kind of a sandbox or a test bed for you to start playing and determining what strategies are working in the past, so you can employ them for your lineups tonight, is what the whole intention of all of this is. So I'm going to cut it short here. I've gone a little bit longer than I was hoping to, but if you guys do have any questions, seriously, email us, or it's support@draftcrunch.com, or more simply, just chat to us. We've got a really fast response time, but we want to hear what you have to say too. So not just questions, but if you've got any feedback at all. If you love it, you hate it, we want to know. Um, it will only help us to improve the tool for you guys. So let us know what you're thinking, and looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks, guys.